Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a really fascinating intersection between human resources, real estate, and everyday performance. We're going to see how corporate accommodation isn't just some basic logistical necessity, just a box to check off for the HR department, but is actually a major, quantifiable driver of your team's success and focus. If you've ever had to relocate for work, or if you manage a team that travels, you already know that where you sleep absolutely dictates how you work. So let's unpack exactly why that is.
So let's kick things off with a pretty crucial question, one that really forms the backbone of our entire analysis today. What is the true cost of an uncomfortable employee? And we aren't just talking about the financial cost of booking a hotel room here. We're talking about the hidden productivity drain that happens when relocation planning goes sideways. Because when an employee is stressed out about their living situation, that stress bleeds directly into their working hours, their energy levels, and ultimately their overall output.
Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the stress of relocation, how comfort drives productivity, everyday convenience and balance, the employer's perspective, and finally, the Dhaka solution.
Let's start with Section 1, the stress of relocation. Put yourself in the shoes of a professional moving to a fast-paced, demanding city like Dhaka. Our core philosophy here is simple. Accommodation is not simply a place to sleep. It is so much more than just a bed. Where an employee stays fundamentally influences their energy, their concentration, their mood, and their entire corporate performance. If we treat housing merely as a place to crash at the end of the day, we're entirely missing the human element of corporate success.
You see, there's just a massive contrast between a quick fix and providing a truly sustainable environment. A standard hotel room? Sure, it's great for a 3-day conference, but for extended stays, you're essentially trapped in a bedroom. Contrast that with furnished service apartments. They actually feel like a home. They offer immediate stability with distinct, separated living areas right from the moment the employee drops their bags.
And then consider the other alternative, moving into a totally unfurnished space. Imagine arriving for a high-stakes new project and having to spend literally all your free time doing these exhausting chores, searching for furniture, arranging household appliances, managing utility connections. It's an immense energy drain. It totally distracts from the job you're actually sent there to do. Suddenly, so much of an employee's time is consumed by tasks completely unrelated to their actual work.
Moving right along to Section 2, how comfort drives productivity.
It turns out, physical, home-like features translate directly into measurable work performance. A comfortable bedroom ensures proper rest, which directly fuels the next day's energy and concentration. Having a dedicated, work-friendly space turns an apartment into a remote-capable hub for deep focus. And something as simple as having kitchen facilities allows an employee to maintain familiar routines by prepping their own meals, which really helps ground them in a new city.
So when we aggregate those features, we get these 5 pillars of accommodation benefits. By removing the friction of moving, these 5 compounding benefits, less stress, better rest, remote work support, daily convenience, and higher overall satisfaction, they empower employees to settle in on day one. They don't need some 2-week transition period where their work suffers. They can maintain a high level of engagement right out of the gate.
Let's zoom in on that second pillar for a second, rest. Because it's absolutely vital to remember that true productivity doesn't come from just working continuously. It requires quality downtime. A spacious furnished apartment creates that critical separation between work and recovery. When an employee can leave their laptop in the living room and go read in quiet privacy or watch TV in a completely separate area from where they sleep, they're creating a mental boundary. And that balance is exactly what helps them return to work the next day feeling genuinely refreshed rather than completely burnt out.
Which brings us to a huge reality of the modern corporate world. Modern employees do not always work from a traditional office. Many professionals need to hop on virtual meetings or respond to late-night emails. Having reliable internet, proper lighting, and a quiet workspace right there in the apartment provides the flexibility needed for extended assignments without sacrificing an ounce of efficiency.
All right, Section 3, everyday convenience and balance.
Beyond just the office hours, think about all those little daily responsibilities that just eat up your time away from home. Having ready-to-use appliances and included housekeeping services dramatically changes the equation. When your team isn't bogged down by basic household logistics, they can actually reclaim their time. They can exercise, explore Dhaka safely, and maintain a genuinely healthy work-life balance.
Now let's flip the script. Section 4, the employer's perspective.
For the HR managers and corporate decision makers listening, a solid corporate housing strategy completely shifts accommodation from being this annoying logistical burden into a really proactive employee support tool. Instead of expecting your employees to just figure out housing themselves, companies provide a ready-to-use solution. This sends a crystal clear message that their personal well-being is highly valued, which drastically improves retention, satisfaction, and overall engagement. It's a massive win-win for any organization.
Which brings us to our final stop, Section 5, the Dhaka solution. Dhaka is a massive, bustling business center, right? It's constantly pulling in professionals from all over Bangladesh and the globe for training, consulting, and long-term operations. But let's be real, finding temporary housing in this busy city is challenging, and it often results in brutal commutes and intense schedules. Furnished service departments offer the perfect middle ground here, providing the privacy of a true home alongside integrated services that make temporary urban living effortless and safe.
And this is where we get a really direct, actionable solution. If you're an employer looking to streamline your corporate travel programs, or maybe you're an employee wanting to recommend a great option to your HR team, REIT-Limited corporate housing provides exactly what we've been talking about today. Located right in Bashundhara R, Dhaka, they offer fully furnished, ready-to-use service apartments designed specifically for professional comfort. You can reach out to them at +8801-1711-993377 or just visit their website at hotels.com.bd to explore how they can support your team's next relocation.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, provocative thought to chew on. Is your company's housing strategy actually setting your team up for success, or are you just giving them a place to sleep? I challenge you to view your next corporate relocation not as some frustrating expense that needs to be minimized, but as a real strategic opportunity to invest in your employees' productivity, comfort, and loyalty. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.